going on, everybody? This is Wilson checking in from the Zion Racing Team channel. Just kind of give you a little introduction about us and tell you kind of what we're about. Try to start off on this little vlogging thing we got going on here. We're from South Florida, mainly Broward and Palm Beach. We decided to start a little crew. Couple enthusiasts, you know, we like cars and we like hooking them up. We've been doing it for a long time, so we figured why not share it with the world and kind of give everybody a little insight on some of the things we do, upgrades, repairs, things of that such. Sometimes we search around and realize that there's not a lot of informational videos pretty much for people to go through to see, you know, little processes of everything. So we just kind of doing it for the camaraderie and, you know, just the sport. You know, we enjoy cars, we enjoy racing, we enjoy everything. So, you know, we came up with this little team, Zion Racing Team. So what I want to kind of give you a little introduction on is my car. I'll give you a little background, show you how it is right now. It's a 1995 Nissan pickup, Nissan Hardbody D21, what they call it. This car here currently has SR20 DET engine out of the 240 SXs in Japan, or 180 SXs if you consider, you know, correct information for the engine. And it's got a couple upgrades. I first got this vehicle back in the beginning of last year. I bought it off of a guy who did the swap and he hadn't really finished it completely. And so I took it upon myself to button it up, having had 240 SXs in the past. And with SR20s, I kind of had an idea on what needed to be done to make it work. This one just needed a few things and I got it going. I pretty much got it up to my standard on how I wanted it, set it up. And unfortunately last year, I got into an accident and I kind of crashed the car to the point where I didn't have the opportunity to fix it, so I had to sell it. And I ended up selling it to a younger guy and he fixed it up. And then after he fixed it up, he had it for a while, but it really didn't serve a purpose for him, so he actually contacted me and offered to sell it back, and I bought it. So he did change, you know, parts on the front end because that's what got damaged. He changed the intercooler and he put some wheels on it, changed some suspension parts and some brake parts that were damaged in the accident. But kind of just gonna go over the car for you. As you see, it's, you know, single cab, regular cab, D21 hard body. It's got the SR20 swap. You see the intercooler is from Mitsubishi Stereon. For now, it, you know, works, but ideally it will be upgraded. That was one of the things I wanted to do in the past that I hadn't got a chance to do. So I'll pop the hood here for you guys so you guys can see, you know, the engine and all. So here's the SR20 DET engine from Japan. It comes turbo. Some of you may know, but for those of you that don't, it does come turbo. This one has, you know, a few upgrades. It has Megan Racing manifold that I had actually taken apart when I owned the car previously and sprayed it with high heat temp. I had to replace the stock T25 turbo, so this one actually has believe it's GT2871R from Twisted Motion Racing, and it has clocking adapters to change the location of the intake there. Ideally, all this intercooler piping was done by the guy that I bought the truck from originally, and it's not the right diameters that I would have for SR20 engine, so that's all going to be upgraded in due time. For right now, I just kind of got the car running. I recently had a baby, so I gotta take a little break, but I will be, you know, tinkering on the car and doing a couple little things here and there, but bigger upgrades will come later on down the line. So it has that equivalent to a T28 turbo GT2871R. It's currently running, I want to say, around 12 to 13 psi. Stock internals, just the intercooler. It has the radiator, which has been upgraded with a single electric fan That seems to cool it down pretty good. Eventually I'd want to get a dual fan setup and upgrade it with a fan shroud and mount the radiator in a better spot. It's kind of just in there a little bit. You can see here there's a little bit of damage still from the accident that has to get touched up. It's got a fuel pressure regulator on it, VMS, not really big name brand, but some of you may know it off of eBay. It's got a Greddy style intake manifold. It's not actual Greddy, but it's just a style. And so that's pretty much the engine upgrades that it has right now. It's got this TL 50mm blow off valve. Sounds pretty nice for the car and the setup. As you can see here, it still retains the 6 lug. These wheels, I'm not sure what name brand they are. These are the ones that he put on there. I had Cadillac Escalade wheels on it, the Eskies as they call them, but those were damaged in the accident, so he replaced them with these wheels. It has suspension upgrades done to it. I believe they are Beltec upgrades. I'm not sure if you can see them too well there, but it's got a couple upgrades, some energy suspension bushings, and, you can see how the engine mounted in there, the oil pan, everything clears pretty good. Eventually, more upgrades to the suspension will be done, but like I said, for now, everything works how it should. These mirrors, originally the guy told me they were also from a Mitsubishi Starion. It has couple of things on the interior, but I'll stay on the outside for right now. These are the rear wheels, a little bit wider in the back. You can see that third brake light there is one that I actually changed. It's from a newer style Nissan Frontier, and I wired it in, but it looks like it's having a couple problems, so I gotta check the wiring on that again. I added this tonneau cover. When I first bought it from the guy, it had camper top, which was ugly. The reason for the camper top, basically this guy took the rear end from a Nissan Pathfinder and he installed that rear end completely, axles and all, onto this hard body. So this is currently not running leaf springs in the back. It is actually something that he welded up and constructed, and if you can see here, it's pretty much a coilover setup that he did. He said the shocks were from GSXR motorcycles. So for right now, that's the Nissan Pathfinder rear axle, and the coilovers are from motorcycle GSXR suspension. I'll kind of show you a little bit on both sides so you see how it is. There's the other one. You can kind of check out how they're mounted in there. They have different mounting points for the bolt there to change geometry of the suspension, and also it's a coilover shock, so you can adjust it as well. I will be replacing those with coilover shocks that are made for cars, kind of like street rods or whatever. Some nice coilovers. Also from this angle, you can see the 3-inch exhaust. I had that exhaust custom made down here by a Performance Exhaust place. It's 3 inches all the way from the turbo outlet pipe or the dump pipe all the way down into a MagnaFlow muffler that you see there, and then it comes out here to a little sneaky tip I put. I wasn't originally running the stock bumper on it. The kid that had it right before me, he put the stock bumper back on, but I actually liked it without the stock bumper. So that's the suspension and the exhaust, and then you see the drive shaft there. That drive shaft was built by my friend. He works at Broward Powertrain down here, South Florida, and he did that. It's a aluminum drive shaft. Everything's set up. It has nice joints and everything to fit properly. You can kind of see here, this is one of the Escalade wheels that was on there before. He put it in as a spare. So since the guy who built this truck originally when I bought it did that upgrade to the rear suspension and changed that rear axle to the Pathfinder, it had to eliminate the gas tank, so it doesn't have an original gas tank in it. You'll see the door here, it's empty. there's nowhere for a gas tank. So what he did was he installed a fuel cell. It's got a 10-gallon fuel cell in the back here. If you can see, it's right back there. And so in order for me to put fuel, this was the tonneau cover that I bought, and it pretty much allows you to lift up the edge here. If I lift up these edges, which I'll actually unhinge the whole tonneau cover so you guys can see how it works. I actually like this cover. It's from Xtang. It wasn't relatively too expensive, but it got damaged during the accident, so I'm gonna have to try to find a way to patch that up over there. But I like the way that it's sealed completely and it didn't allow for water to get in. Has these tangs here so that you can pop this portion off, and then you pretty much roll it up, or fold it up however you want. So here I'll at least show you how the fuel cell looks. Let me twist this up a little bit for you. So that's the fuel cell. It actually has a high flow fuel pump underneath the car. This is where you put the fuel in. Let me see if I can get a good view of the fuel pump down here. There, you see the connection a little bit. Comes down through the bed into the truck there. So that actually made the car lose a lot of weight. So that's one upgrade that's nice. Probably will change the setup a little bit in the future just to replace the fuel cell, maybe put a different one in there, one that might actually allow me to run a level so that I can see how much fuel is in the car, because right now I just kind of have to guess and try to top it off at the gas station when I can. It's running regular pump 93 gas, which works really good for this car. So I will now take you onto the inside. Not too many upgrades done to the interior. One nice thing that he did, the original guy, he installed these bucket seats. These are from a 1970s model Porsche. They're pretty comfortable. They're a little worn, but they're actually really nice. I may or may not change them in the future. For now, they are comfy and they serve the purpose. This is manual window. D21, no electric, no power windows, no power door locks. Currently has a stock cluster and everything in it. The miles per hour don't work due to the speed sensor. That's something that has to get figured out. The temperature gauge works, the fuel gauge doesn't, and the RPMs do work, so that actually receives a good signal. Dash is pretty clean, no cracks. I had put this rubber ducky in there originally. It was pretty cool. I got them from one of the sites that I actually bought a part from. It has no radio at this time. Originally the gauges were put in there. There's an air fuel gauge and a boost gauge, a manual boost gauge. Then this switch here is what the guy had set up for the radiator fan. Eventually I'll put some relays and make it kick in so that when it reaches the temperature, you don't have to have a switch. I can always have a switch if I want, so that I can put it on manually when I choose. But for now, it's just that manual switch, so I will eventually change that. I added this extension piece to the shifter so that it's a little higher. It sat kind of low and it was a little hard when I was driving the truck to reach all the gears. I installed this little thing here. You need little cup holders and stuff to store things. I haven't really cleaned out the truck since I got it back from the kid. I had to seal this portion here. Fumes were getting in, and weather and everything. So this is actually from 350Z, and it fit in pretty good. I was able to seal everything in, and I like the way that it looked. For now, the ECU is mounted right there. Probably find a better location for it in the future, but that was the best spot for it, so nobody was kicking it and it was out of the way. And that's pretty much it for the guidance on the car. What I'll do now is I'll turn it on so you guys can hear it and see how it is. So when I cycle it on, you hear the fuel pump turn on. and I go ahead and start the car. See, I'll go ahead and show you guys the engine. Pretty much turnkey. No issues to start it. Starts pretty good. Runs well. I had it on for a little while earlier, so it's already a little warm. So I'm able to rev it for you guys now. That's pretty much it. You guys got an introduction of the car, a little introduction about the group, Zion Racing Team. If you guys subscribe, like the video, comment, let me know what you guys think. Give me any information you want or anything you want to tell me. If you want to join, if you want to give input, you want to help out, whatever. We're a community. We like cars. We like tinkering on them. We got a couple people in the group already. So yeah, just let me know. There'll be more videos coming soon. I'll probably start making videos every time I tinker with the cars. I got another friend that he's pretty much my right-hand man when it comes to working on the cars. He's got two RX-7s, a FB, which is the first gen RX-7, and he's got a FC, a second gen RX-7. They're pretty cool. We've learned a lot with the rotaries and messing with those, and we'll fill you guys in on those when we get the opportunity. I'll actually be over there in a couple weeks or so, so we'll have some content from there. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to check us out. Appreciate it. Zion Racing Team. Follow us on Instagram @Zion Racing Team, and subscribe and like on the channel. Appreciate it. Thanks.